Remember, I said at the beginning, the challenge is mountainous. I only have a matter of hours to break you free from decades of lies and manipulations. You simply need to see it to believe it. You need this truth to help you understand what is coming quickly, very quickly. What I offer you is to escape death. Speaking of death, now it is time to clearly understand the story of the cross. Mark 10:21, Then Jesus beholding him loved him, and said unto him, One thing thou lackest, go thy way, sell whatsoever thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven. And come, take up the cross, and follow me. Taking up a cross in those days meant give up your desires for this world, and to follow him back to the light within the Father. Mark 8:34, Then he called the crowd to him along with his disciples and said, If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. The key word once again is to follow him, and follow him where? Luke 23:26, As they led him away, they seized Simon from Cyrene, who was on his way in from the country, and put the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus. The cross that the man now called Jesus refused to carry as part of human ritualistic filth, was given to another man to carry for him, and the cross was only a very lightweight 4-foot-tall cross which they used as a cheap grave marker. The cross in those days reflected the symbolic belief in crossing over from the physical world to the world after physical life, and small grave marker crosses are still used today to bury mass bodies. There never was a crucifixion on a massive and extremely heavy 2-tree formation that would have taken 4 strong men to carry up a hill. The real way they killed the man publicly is confirmed here. Acts 5:30, The God of our fathers raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Acts 10:39, And we are witnesses of all things which he did both in the land of the Jews, and in Jerusalem, whom they slew and hanged on a tree. Acts 13:29, And when they had fulfilled all that was written of him, they took him down from the tree, and laid him in a sepulchre. Galatians 3:13, Christ hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us, for it is written, Cursed is every one that hangeth on a tree. Deuteronomy 21:22, And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree. A few real hints for reasons the Jews were so upset that they desired to kill the man incorrectly called Jesus today is understood by 2 verses, one from the New Testament which reflects a ritual from the Old. Of course the man publicly fought with authorities and public officials, but was he also speaking publicly against the scribes who were preachers of their Lord Jehovah? John, chapter 19, verse 7, The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verse 20, But the prophet, which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. There are a lot of misconceptions and deceits about the man, but here is an insight into where they came up with the lies about him being a sacrificial lamb to atone human sins. Satanic rituals of animal sacrifices and blood worshipping exist throughout the Old Testament. Exodus, chapter 24, verse 8, And Moses took the blood, and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. Numbers, chapter 28, verse 9, And on the Sabbath day 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil, and the drink offering thereof. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath, beside the continual burnt offering, and the Lord's drink offering. The drink offering of the Lord in the Old Testament is blood, as you will see in another verse coming up soon. Think on that one, and you might have an idea who is ruling this world now. Leviticus, chapter 4, verse 7, And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar of sweet incense before the Lord, which is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour all the blood of the bullock at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Horns of an altar. I thought horns were symbolic of? Leviticus, chapter 4, verse 32, If he brings a lamb as his sin offering, he is to bring a female without defect. Leviticus 4:35, All its fat he shall take away, like the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall burn them on the altar, on the offerings made by fire unto the Lord, and the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin that he has sinned, and he will be forgiven. Leviticus, chapter 5, verse 6, And he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Lord for his sin which he hath sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a kid of the goats, for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his sin. Now you see the old tradition of sacrificing a lamb to forgive a sin was resurrected to manipulate the murder of a man as a sacrifice. Old satanic rituals of sprinkling blood on the horns of altars or offering dead animals and blood, the drink offering of the Lord, existed throughout the Old Testament. However, now you can see where the lies of a lamb sacrificing himself for the forgiveness of humanity came from. It was lies to twist the truth. And as for the forgiveness ritual, what did the man incorrectly called Jesus say about forgiveness to the open public? He said forgiveness is an illusion of human beings, and a grand deception of a guilty conscience. Mark 4:11-12, and he said unto them, Unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see, and not perceive, and hearing they may hear, and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted, and their sins should be forgiven them. This one verse tells you he did not want some to perceive truth and be converted to forgive their sins. John 9:41, Jesus said unto them, If ye were blind, ye should have no sin, but now ye say, We see, therefore your sin remains. John 15:19, If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. John 15:22, If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no excuse for their sin. He that hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin, but now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. These verses tell you that forgiveness was never a part of the agenda. The man today incorrectly called Jesus openly battled the authorities and officials of the establishment, calling them hypocrites, serpents and children of the devil. As I just mentioned, he offended the Jews with his teachings about the universal Father, and taught openly that their beloved Lord Jehovah was indeed the devil in disguise, the God today worshipped by billions of human species globally.